All right, so this is a little video of my quilt. I've just done the Spanish one. I am not a videographer. This is not professional, in case it's not super obvious. I'm trying to do the best with the lighting, but I wanted it to be a bright day, and now of course it's a bright day, so that's complicated in its own way. Anyway, I wanted to show you my latest finish. I do plan to do videos of my other quilts, but I thought this is more relevant because it's what I'm kind of moving towards now. So this is what I call an almost Irish quilt. I really wanted to have an Irish quilt, and I find this with all the crafts that I practice, that I think I'm a very traditional person and I'm really drawn to them, and then I realize like, oh, I like to look at those in museums, but I actually don't want to make that myself. So I often end up with almost something. So this is almost an Irish chain, and you can see how the chain goes down. I've got two different colors, so I've got that turquoise and I've got the green. But I wanted to talk a little bit about my motivations when I make quilts. So I really like to make things constantly. I really don't stop. Apart from my job and me cooking, I really don't stop. I make all the time. And I make because it's my way of processing things and a way of keeping calm. Also a way of thinking things through if there are challenges or problems or something about the world that's upset me. I think that's a really helpful way to process things. But I also really like them as an art form, and I want to leave things for my children when I'm no longer here. I think one of my life preoccupations is that my mum developed Alzheimer's, and although she did meet Sophia and Christina, Sophia was her first grandchild, she really wasn't well enough to enjoy her, and that's really sad. And I know she would have knitted for my children had she been alive, because she was a great knitter, had she been alive and well. So I really want to have things for my children to inherit. Anyway, apart from that, I have preoccupations. I think there's too much stuff in the world, so I do try and use secondhand materials now for everything that I make. So I buy secondhand for us to utilize directly, and then when that's no good anymore, I use it for my crafts. And sometimes I also buy secondhand things specifically for my crafts. So these were some bed sheets that are really fantastic. We've used them. Whenever I see them secondhand, I buy them because the cotton is really superior quality and they're so pretty. This was a bed sheet set, the green, from a brand new bed sheet set that we bought, gosh, about maybe 14 years ago, and it's done its dash, and I salvaged bits to use for this. This was another bed sheet that I made a skirt out of, and then the leftovers I used for the quilting and various other projects. This mustard here has been in a few projects, which I really enjoy, that the cross-pollination between the quilts. That pink was also a bed sheet for my other daughter, so one was green set, one was a pink set. I love this fabric. It was from a silk blouse that I bought in case someone wanted it, knowing that if not, I would totally love to do this. And it was secondhand as well. I love secondhand shopping, it's just so much fun. And then I do have some K facet fabric. So this is a K facet fabric, who's a very well known and loved designer of knitting, tapestries, quilting. He's fabulous, and his fabric is lovely. I went to a workshop once and I bought fabrics to make the design of a quilt because it was his workshop. And I've used it for other things. I never made that quilt. I don't really like pattern following, so I didn't do that. Another thing that I've done for this quilt has been, I have let the curves be. So in the past, even though I have done pretty much what I felt like with my quilts, at the end of the day, I would always try to square it off. And for the first time, I've decided that this is actually not necessary. And I've so enjoyed the curves. So that's a little bit of a curve there, which I think looks really beautiful. And that curve up there is a little bit more curvy, curvier. I have another little curve here. And that's it. And finally, I've also, as always, I use my pearl cotton thread that I bought when I went on holiday to Guatemala. At a time when you could only buy cream and white, it seemed, in Dunedin for pearl cotton. So I'm really happy. I chose about 12 different shades of green. And so I cut a length, and when I run out, I change it to a different color. And sometimes I would change it to white, to pink, and sometimes I would change it to another green. So it's just a running stitch, and I don't worry if my technique is not considered to be like traditionally good enough. I'm really happy. I tend to really like lines, even though they're not straight. I don't pre-mark, I just use my eye. But at some point, I kind of have enough of that, and then I start doing curves, which you can see there. There's like a couple of lines where I did curves. And then on the outside bits, I did meandering lines, which you can just about make out. Yeah, so it's meandering lines. And when I'm done, when I've quilted enough to kind of feel like it's secure, I'll move on to the binding. You can see the meandering curves here. It's a little bit more clear. And so then I do the binding, and everything is hand stitched with my quilts. I would rather hand stitch for 10 hours than get my machine out, to be quite frank. I'm even looking forward to making curtains by hand for my new house. Once I've done the binding, then I can come back and add some more quilting lines and squiggles. I also wanted to show you the back. Sorry again, I will not be doing editing because I'm me. And you can see the front. It's very sunny today. It's winter, and my geraniums are flowering. Dunedin is hilarious. There's a lot of sentimentality and memories and affection in this. That was my daughter's. I made a nightie with that second-hand fabric, and more of that bedding fabric. The cabbage. Those are green cabbage fabrics. So I wonder if I can do for you to take it all in. It's longer. I forgot to bring it over the side. But I'm really happy with how this one turned out. And the last thing to show you is my label, which I finished and I'm very happy with. So on this side, it says my name. It's embroidered on a calico, which is very plain. Then I have the city, New Zealand in Spanish, the year, and also pandemia, COVID, encerrados, and delta, which are all words in Spanish relating to the life we're living at the moment. So that's it. I hope you like it. I hope more than anything I make this for my family, but it's always really lovely when you post something and people are inspired and they go, oh, I thought this was beyond me. But as you can see, if you're not looking for perfection, you can come out with a pretty good product pretty quickly. And then you might enjoy that look. So I hope you're having a good week, and I'll post soon.